The first lesson in learning maintenance. Let's first understand the tools to be used in the first lesson. Repair homes are a curve gun. Then there are two air nozzles of the same air gun. The pattern of our air gun. What about a large chip? We will use the large chip mode. As for the small diameter, just the small chip mode. Big chip mode, small chip mode. The air gun is the same. That is, the size of the pattern and the trend is different. So why use large chip and small chip? We can unplug it when using it. Go change the front one. But in high temperatures, this plug is more difficult. It is more convenient to plug it in after it cools down. This is not conducive to our quick maintenance, so we're using two shots now, fixed to air nozzles. The wind nozzle is used to blow large chips. This hard disk CPU is basically. There are also double panels, layered. They all use big wind nozzles. What about the little wind nozzles? Just take apart some small chips. And then even smaller, capacitance resistance, decapacitance resistor. These small ones can also be used. Large diameter mode to dismantle. But for example, the CPU has glue, power chip with glue. We are going to dismantle the inductance in this little area in the middle. When capacitance resistance, big chip comes up and blows, it will cause the CPU and power chip supply to explode with glue. Small chip will not, so you have to use small chip mode. Strictly distinguish it from the large chip mode. The introduction of the air gun is complete. Then we will introduce tweezers. Tweezers are used to clip chips. Disassembly and assembly all rely on it, whether it is CPU, power chip, supply, capacitor, inductance, and air gun. The front is the heating core. The back is a leather tube. The leather pipe is cold wind. Hot air will come out when the cold air passes through the heating core. We have a brand new algorithm. Large chip mode and small chip mode. The heating curve is completely different. Let's put the main board on top of the fixture, like this. I won't shake during the operation explanation. Novices pay special attention to. Next, first class. It is also very crucial for beginners. You have to have muscle memory. We usually come up and start practicing. Dismantle. It may be wrong. For example, now we need to dismantle these capacitors. So in this state, if the method is wrong, capacitor removal, it is very likely that touch other chips around. Now let's take a simple way. I'll remove one first. Small chip mode. The temperature used is 500. The air volume is 65. Disassemble in this direction. After the temperature comes up, disassembly and assembly are the same, but it's time to dismantle. We can easily bump into the chip on the side, and it will also cause the chip on the side to be misplaced. The novice is practicing during the process. You must learn to clip the chip like this. After the airgun hot air comes out, the first to come into contact with a large area is these metal tweezers. What about metal tweezers? Heat conducts well. The temperature on both sides of it, much higher than the main board. The PCB board directly receives the temperature of this wind. That in this state, if we dismantle it, just look. Now after we take off this capacitor, the temperature on this side has not melted. This was not packed tightly just now. Let's take it off now. If we are in the process of practicing, remove a part, misplaced like this. That's the wrong way. It's dangerous, especially when dismantling these adhesive chips. When the parts are on the side, it will cause it to burst tin and short circuit. We must learn. Clamp both ends. Dismantle it like this through the heat conduction of the metal. Like this. Like this. So, then, on the edges, these are hard. How does that work? Let me zoom in for you. Look carefully here. This is all tin at the same temperature. Look carefully when the tweezers are placed on it. When the airgun blows it, it melts right away, but it won't melt on this side. It's hard, so the forceps, when receiving heat conduction is extremely fast, so his side heats up, will be more obvious and faster. The forceps clamp the capacitor, inductance, both ends of a resistor. Be sure to clip the silver tin part at both ends. It can be dismantled quickly like this. Clip the side without tin. It is impossible to complete this kind of quick dismantling. Sandwiched here and here. It has to be this one. After melting, to take it off. It won't work if you clip both ends. Clip both ends. As long as these two melt, it won't melt here. Because of the forceps temperature, conduction is extremely fast. Okay, calm down. Then it's hard here. So when a novice practices for the first time, understand this principle. And it must be controlled. It's the same disassembly and assembly. Then this is just the basic operation. What's important? Let's add another picture on top of this. Let me show you. Look at my argon. We want to bring glue chips. With 500 degrees temperature and 65 air volume, it will not be affected when dismantled. First look at the air gun. Clip the forceps first. The chip we want to dismantle. Air gun comes in. After the capacitor is removed. First time, the air gun is far from the main board. This way there will be no problem. The outfit is the same, as long as it is installed here. Okay. After you pack it, the first thing to remove was not the forceps. The first time to withdraw is the air gun. The air gun must leave quickly. A chip with glue like this. No matter how close you are. Like these, it won't blow the power supply directly. Because I'm under the microscope, hanging a heavier lens, so it's a little wobbly. Just understand it. For better, get this actual operation. There are a lot of things hanging in this picture. So let's do a drill now. Grab him with tweezers. Shake it a little bit. Get down. When we come down, we will find it's the heat conduction of the forceps. It's a huge advantage. Tin below. You see it's all flat here. It's not brought here. Ball sucker. Let's take a quick disassembly and assembly. Then this air gun, just withdraw. But I try my best. Don't you withdraw from the screen. Exit screen. You can see the air gun. As soon as the temperature comes down, okay, put it away first. As soon as the temperature arrives. As soon as the temperature arrives. As soon as the temperature arrives. It's when the novice practices. This step has to solidify muscle memory. If it is not solidified, it is very troublesome to disassemble and assemble the adhesive chip. The outfit is the same. As soon as you go up, withdraw. Once up, retreat. This is not installed properly. Once installed, the first time the air gun leaves the heated area. Capacitance, resistance. Where chips are dense, it's the same principle. Thermal conductivity of forceps. Only for those with tin at both ends. Not for these chips. Not for these chips. These chips can't get through the tip of the forceps. Let it heat up fast. This area is warmer than this area. No, what about operating at this time? Just clamp it and pull. Pull him a little harder, but not vigorously. Fix a force. Afterwards, when he was half melted, you can directly remove it. If you have to wait until it's all melted and removed, just a shake of the hand. There will be a large area of chip misalignment around this periphery. Okay, packed. The same is true for things like this. So let me show you. You just have to wait until it moves before taking it. Just a shake of the hand. The chip on the side will suffer. Let's take a look. Then something like this has already gone wrong, because the temperature has passed. When we took it, as long as there is an action, these chips on the side, it will follow. In this way, the temperature has already passed. So when you practice the first step, as soon as the chip is loose, after picking it up for the first time, the air gun is about to be withdrawn. This habit must be maintained, because in all subsequent repairs, the one that helps us the most. Quickly disassemble and install the chip. Okay, we're next to the CPU. Remove some chips. Let's take a look. He can't explode. No need to use welding ace. This is the walk of the original Tin 217. 1. Take 2. And when the novice is disassembling and assembling these close to the glued chip, when these are put back, the stakes are high. There is another way. You can put this back on. Stick a little bit. Tin lower than the original tin pop temperature would be better. Like this one. The original tin is 217, then we use 199S. That's it. Just borrow. This little temperature difference can pack these. 2 resistors are still in this area. So now give these 2 resistors. Get 199 tin pop. 199 tin pop. The temperature he wants will be much lower. Look carefully. Only 199 of the tin pop melted in this area. This one of 217 does not melt. When putting it back, as long as it is tin plated, it is equally good. Pack up. But it doesn't melt here. It can be troublesome in the early stage. First put this 217 plated to a lower temperature. And then to install these small chips. It won't be needed later. As long as in regular practice. Once muscle memory is generated. Simple. Okay, the temperature is a bit too high. The trend has not reached the state we want. It's good to be in this state. Okay, it's alright. It's melted here, but this side is not driven. So you can. If once there is such a small demand around the outer focus chip, so I'm going to take this chip off and reinstall it. This state is no longer working. Therefore, during any practice, adhesive chip, it has these little round solder balls on the side. It's all failure. No, there can't be. Once there is a failure, like these little solder balls, once it comes out, chip short circuit. You have to unpack it. So this, be sure to control it. Ha ha ha. Okay, let's dismantle a few more big ones. Then look at the air gun. How did you withdraw? Be sure to watch this video again and again. As long as the capacitor comes down, wind gun go away. Once the capacitor comes down, wind gun goes away. Capacitor down the air gun and go. Okay, here it is. The main exercise content of the first lesson. Once this is practiced, how can I verify my results? Which one can be opened? ID board. As long as he can turn it on. Remove the filter capacitor on the side of the tape chip. Do not remove the coupling capacitor. Uncoupling capacitor. You think you pushed the CPU away. It won't open after removing it. Then it may fail. Be sure to remove the filter capacitor. One end of the filter capacitor is to ground. There's resistance at one end. To dismantle these circuits. After dismantling, the machine can still be turned on normally. Then handmade. Just practice. So the first step. It is also the most crucial step for us in the future. Must learn. And here we are. This big state is viewed below. Take another look. Disassemble some chips. Once removed, go in the direction. Go fast. Let's go. If you dismantle it continuously, the temperature will be a bit high. Let's go. Walk if you practice continuously. It is best to have a second interval in the middle. Allows the main board to dissipate temperature quickly. Just practice the first step. So that's basically it for the first period. We'll stop here for the first lesson. Bye.